Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? I'm good.
I'm chilling, thanks. Just fair warning, I'm sure you can hear it in my voice a little bit. I am a little sick still. Um, sorry, I had to
Yeah,
call off work today. So my voice might be a little shot for the lesson. I'm totally fine to do it. Like mentally, I'm all there. I'm not tired or anything. It's just my voice is still a little shot. Um, but yeah, how have you been making out since our last session together? I know this time we said we talk about juggling a little bit, but
yeah. I've been doing it, and yeah, I mean, don't no sweat. Like, if you need to reschedule or anything, no problem. I don't
mm,
want you to push
no,
yourself when you're not feeling well.
it's okay. I'm all good.
Uh, okay, I'll trust you on
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I know. I've been doing all right. Trying to think critically about my games. I haven't been playing as much,
Mhm,
but I think that's also okay. It gives me the chance to like take a step back and think about what I'm doing.
mhm.
Um, But yeah, what did we even talk about last time? Implementing CC,
Yeah.
for the most part. I think that's hard.
It is, yep.
Yeah, I
It's
guess like a lot of the time, I feel like even when I do end up getting CC, like CCing my opponent's stuff,
mhm,
um, I feel like I'm not getting like good punishes from it.
sure.
Like my instinct will be to just like throw out a down tilt or something, which is
Okay.
very low reward.
Mhm.
Probably a lot of the situations that's happening, I should be like going for grab or something. So that takes some getting used to. And then also, I feel like um, I've been messing around with like ASDI down, and like holding C stick down while dash dancing and stuff like that, and then trying to get punishes off that,
Mhm.
which I find very difficult. I feel like, I play on a GameCube controller, and
Yep.
I find that it's just like physically difficult to
No, it
like
is. Yeah.
get to a position, like position your hands to get like a good punish, because um you know uh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I completely agree
I
with you.
you're,
I'm always arguing that's a major advantage that box has over like regular controller.
yeah,
But yeah.
I feel like I'm certainly no authority on any of this stuff, and like
Yeah.
I don't play at a top level,
Mm.
but it does seem like holding down, like holding down on a box while doing literally anything else is completely trivial
Yeah.
compared to like holding C stick down on a GCC. It's way more,
Yeah.
it seems way more limiting, at least superficially.
Because it
But I'm
is.
sure there's
Yeah.
nuances to the box that I don't really get, but yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Well,
not to be too controversial.
no, you're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll say in terms of like the CC implementation, don't get too disheartened on it. CC isn't like something like L canceling where you can just practice it a couple times and like all of a sudden you get it.
Yeah.
I would look at it more like something like wave dashing where it's like you have to learn where to implement it, and
Mm.
kind of like when it feels good, when it doesn't. One thing that catches a lot of people about when it's bad is like some people will use CC, they'll like dash dance in neutral and then they'll just hold down.
Mm.
But I don't think it's really best used for that. I think it's like you can bait with it, but I would almost do it like in a reactive sense where it's like, okay, I know they're gonna come at me right now. Now I'll hold down, or like
Right.
I just messed up. Now I'll hold down so I can get a reversal. And then yeah, to your point about like using down tilt instead of something like grab, that's a quick fix, right? If you're already aware of that, then you could totally just make that change right away.
Yeah, it's more like a muscle memory thing, or like
Yeah,
mm,
exactly.
I like have a just like the instinct to like do an action after I'm hit, and it's like, oh well, I'm just picking the wrong action right now. But yeah, it's gonna take a little bit to implement that properly.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I would just if you can like whenever you do your own VOD analysis, like the best way to like learn when crouch cancel is like good is kind of like when you get hit, think could I have crouch canceled that move? And if you can, maybe think about trying to use it next time when you're actually playing, even if you don't think it's going to be the best option, just
Right.
have the ability to think about it, you know?
Yeah, makes sense.
Because like I think crouch cancel makes a huge difference against like Sheik. It makes a huge difference against Pikachu. Huge difference in the Ditto, and traditionally like all those three matchups are really really annoying, right? For Marths who
Yeah.
don't crouch cancel. So yeah, it's just a necessity, but it's also like I said, it's like wave dashing. You have to learn when to implement it, less so than like how to do it.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been thinking about that while playing, and then thinking about juggling in anticipation of this this session, I guess.
Hmm.
And yeah, I guess I'll get to talk about that a little bit. I also wanted to ask you for fun. I saw
Sure.
you played at Gommel
Oh
the other
yeah.
day, and I went to look at the bracket to see how you ended up faring there, just out of curiosity. And I saw you lost to Zane in winners. So I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you, was that your first time playing Zane? And if so, and even if not, like, what was that? What was that like? I'm just kind of curious. Like, I feel
Um,
like that has to be an experience on its own in a way.
yeah, it was. So it wasn't my first time playing Zane. I played Zane a couple times, but it was my first time playing his Marth.
Hmm.
I've run into Don't Test Me multiple times. I've run into like his Game and Watch or like his Mario, but
Yeah.
um, I probably will play Zane sometime soon because I messaged him like 2 weeks before Gommel and I was like, hey, do you want to get some games sometime? And he was like, yeah, I'm super down. And I was like, oh, sweet, awesome. Because I wasn't sure if Zane knew who I was, but apparently he does, which is
Yeah,
good.
I think he's pretty aware of like the Marth landscape from what I've
Yeah.
seen. Yeah,
Because he pronounced my name right, and that was like the big indicator to me, like, oh, he actually does know who I am. He's not. It's
mm.
not just like a heard of me kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
Um,
cool.
so yeah, I mean, going into that set, I kind of like was like mentally prepped, like, okay, it's just the number one player in the world. I'm not gonna win, and my biggest priority wasn't to learn from Zayn about the Ditto in that moment, um, because I can always go into Switch chat and ask him questions or just watch him play other Marths. My
Yeah,
biggest thing was like keeping composure so I get a good run myself in losers,
yeah,
because I didn't want to lose and be upset and then whatever. So I, honest to God, finished pools, and then there was a 20-minute break between pools and top 128.
yeah.
So I didn't prep at all for Zane. I didn't mentally like prep myself. I didn't check notes. I didn't warm up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna lose to Zane, whatever.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it just kind of comes at you like a moving truck, and you're like,
yeah,
well,
exactly. And
I
I like,
guess I'm getting run over.
yeah, and I know Zane was warming up for me because he takes it serious, but like that's
Right.
okay. I just wasn't like mentally there, ready to
Yeah.
play him. But I got washed. It was not close.
Yeah,
Um,
he seems pretty like I mean, obviously my eye is very like untrained, but he seems quite competent in the Ditto, let alone just kind of
I've
dominant everywhere. But yeah, I've seen him play the Ditto, and I mean, even just watching like the top eight, whatever, or like top 16, and it's like him versus Kadoran, and it's like, man, he just seems so confident there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Zayn is pretty trained in like most matchups. I wouldn't say that about like Sheik or sometimes even like Yoshi or a couple others, like some of the weirder ones. But his Marth matchup is fantastic. His Falco matchup is like the best there's ever been. Same with Fox. But yeah, I got brutally destroyed by Zayn. Like I'm not kidding, one of the biggest beatdowns in Melee I've ever had.
Man,
But like I said, I didn't prep for it. Like, and I don't know, it kind of comes off as John's, but it's just kind of the reality
no,
of it. Like,
no, I don't think that at all.
I knew based on the schedule that as soon as I lost to Zane, I would have had to play someone else. So it's just very much like a okay, I'm gonna keep my composure. I'm ready to play my next round, and then I won it. So I
Yeah,
was happy with
nice,
that.
awesome.
But yeah, I did show Zane, excuse me, a new tech I've been learning in Melee, a new tech I found. And I made him try it, and he says pretty good. He's never seen it before, so I'm gonna make a YouTube video about it once my voice like fully recovers.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I'll share more of that. I'll probably post it in my Discord once the link is live. But
That's exciting. I'll look forward to that.
yeah, it's good. It's really good with Marth too. Like Marth is one of the best top tiers to do it with, so it's really exciting. But yeah, anyway, that was my experience playing
Yeah,
Zane.
cool.
I
Thanks
got
for
I got
sharing.
washed. No worries. Okay, excuse me. So yeah, today we were gonna talk about juggling. Um, and I know you sent me a couple sets about Sheik, so I want to ask you first. Do you want to make this session specifically focused on juggling, or do you want to talk about Sheik and juggling as a whole?
Yeah,
Does
we
that
could
make sense?
talk about it all together. I'm sure there'll be lots to point out. So,
Okay, sure.
yeah.
So let me ask you this. We'll talk about juggling first, and then we'll kind of talk about how that plays into Sheik as a character. Then, so when you juggle your character, let's say it's Luigi, just for example, right now,
Yeah.
because I think Luigi's juggling is he's probably the most straightforward character to juggle in the game because
Mhm.
he has little to no horizontal drift.
Yeah.
Um, so what does your process look like for that? Let's say you grab him at like 10%, and you up throw him in the air. How do you juggle him?
Uh, well, if they go straight up, um, well, okay, well, at 10, I guess I would probably try to up tilt, although I don't technically know if that's like quote unquote true, or if they get act, it's probably what I would go for anyway. And then basically, and this is like maybe applicable to everything. I'm gonna look for. I'm probably gonna look for up air. Um, you know, but I know that with Luigi specifically, it's a little bit harder to juggle him because down air can sometimes like trade with up air if you're um, timing it poorly. So a lot of the time, I'll try to end up in a position where I can sort of um, like forward air instead because I think it's easier to connect, and then I'll try to push him off stage eventually. I know that's pretty like high level.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah. So
yeah.
like you covered pretty much the two massive holes of what comes with juggling. It doesn't seem like you really have an answer for them, but it's good that you're aware of them because then we can talk about it a little easier. So I'm just gonna jump in Uncle Punch just so I can freeze frame a couple things, and we'll talk about how to beat those things, and then that kind of makes juggling for every character really obvious. Actually, just 1 second. I need to grab my controller. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, so like you said, when it comes to juggling with Luigi or any character, I choose Luigi because I think he's just the character that can't escape juggling. Like the I don't know how to say it, the best or worst. He sucks against juggling, right? He's just really bad. Um, I also said 10% just to make it a little bit more ambiguous as to like whether or not Luigi can or cannot escape from like up throw up tilt, for example. For the record, up throw at 0, he can't, right? You can see the Luigi gets out here fine. Um, but yeah, the idea is once he's in the air, so I'm going to turn on frame advance just so I can pause this a little easier. Once he's in the air here, right? Let's say here's probably the best example. You're actionable very shortly after. I would say you're actionable here, right? So from Luigi's perspective here, like you said, downer is a real chance that he can trade with. He probably won't go for a downer this close to the ground just because like the downer would probably come out here. Let me tab out so I can excuse me. I need to tab out so I can use my mouse on screen. Can you see my mouse right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to downer here, the downer would probably actually be active like here-ish, right? So you probably won't downer in this position, knowing that you're going to try and come up and hit him. He'll probably do nair so that his feet can kind of like stick out to your hand, right? That's his goal when it comes to juggling. He wants to trade with you less than like outright hit you. So we'll talk about, okay, so now that we kind of established like where he's going to try and hit you, we need to think about like what is his character's moves, right? So like nair and down air, if he comes straight down, what if he tries to be evasive? Well, we know already Luigi has very poor aerial drift, and it's very similar with Sheik. It's just a little bit more extreme with Luigi. So his really only option here is to double jump high. If he comes low, up tilt will cover the nair hitbox. So you don't really have to worry about that, but it's just the thing where he's a little bit higher than normal. So against Luigi in particular, you'd have to wait. When you up throw Sheik at 0%, it's a 50-50. Up tilt won't come out quickly enough if she instant fastball nairs, but it will catch her if like she just doesn't jump and she's just floating around, you know. So I like to do, if I know the character isn't going to, I'm not going to be able to directly combo off a throw if I want to juggle them, quote unquote. I'll do up throw into shield because it's kind of like an option select, right? Like if they aerial onto my shield, well, I just shield grab them and grab them again because they have low drift. And if they double jump, now I can start juggling for real, right? So that's the one part. It's like when you up throw a character and you don't know if you can combo or not, I would recommend shield after up throwing. just to see how they respond. If they hit you, you get a grab. If they double jump, you can play off that. But what if they, let's say I up throw Luigi at like, I don't know, I'm gonna put him at 20, let's say. Right? And let's say that now he's gonna come at me with let's see if I can jump. Let's assume he's gonna nair here, right? Why is this up air risk free of being traded with?
You're like way below him, so if he like dares or nairs or does anything, you're gonna land and be able to like dash dance grab and punish the landing, I think, right?
You're close on the first part. So the reason why this up air will beat any aerial trade is, like you said, there's too much distance of sword and Marth's arm and Luigi, right? Like the sword is like perfectly spaced. So spacing is really big when it comes to juggling, and why Marth is one of the best characters at juggling. He's a disjointed sword, right? So when we look at this hitbox, for example, right? Look how much range there is between Marth's arm and the actual sword, right?
Right.
Wherever the actual sword is, that's where you want to be aiming to hit them. The problem is, what a lot of people mess up when they're going for juggling is they'll do a rising up air, right? Why rising up air is a lot worse than a falling up air for juggling is because you're consistently, like, this hitbox is a still image, but if I were to do, like, I don't know if this will come up right away. But do you see, relative to like where my mouse is, like Marth's body is still moving, right?
Yeah.
Up and down. So even though the sword hitbox doesn't actually change, you're effectively moving him closer and risking that ability to trade when you do rising up air. So when you're juggling, quote unquote, with aerials, while dash dance grab is a good option, it's not really the most reliable option for a lot of juggles, because like characters that have better double jump drift, and unfortunately Sheik and Luigi just do have big back airs, so
Yeah.
dash dance grab really isn't as effective for that. But the big thing is doing as safe as aerials as possible when you're trying to keep them in the air, and then, like you said, push them off stage is the eventual goal. So it sounds like you have most of the roadmap down for juggling. It's just the intricacies of it. So
Yeah. I recently read part of May's Peach guide, where they were, and like when she was talking about juggling Peach, one of the things that came up was, or that she mentions, is like, instead of thinking about it like comboing, you kind of have to like shift your mindset to like, I don't know, you're maybe like shadowing them or like following them a bit until and you're kind of eliminating their options like one by one. But I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe the whole, like, I guess like the idea of like falling aerials being better in these situations maybe than like rising aerials comes into the whole like comboing versus like shadowing thing, where you're not really looking to like combo floaties or like Luigi or anything. But I'll be curious to see how that kind of like applies to Sheik, because I feel like she's heavy enough that maybe you will fall into that like combo mindset where you're trying to like really hit them while they're still in hit stun and stuff.
I would say it doesn't really matter. Like, it does matter, but it doesn't really matter if you want to do a falling up air versus a rising up air to combo Sheik, for example, because like you can kind of follow up on both of those. Where Luigi is a little bit floatier, and you'll get knocked a little higher. Maybe you might want to do like a rising up air or a falling up air depending on the situation, but it doesn't. It's not like super important for juggling though. I would say you almost always want to do a falling aerial.
Okay.
But yeah, juggling is not comboing. That's right. Excuse me. It's very much like a positioning thing. The point of juggling, right? Even when you say it out loud, like you're keeping them off the ground, right? Keeping them in the air. So juggling in theory is like, it is kind of about like removing your opponent's options. And once you know like certain options are gone, it makes it that much easier, right? Like,
Mhm.
let's say I do this up throw at 0 and I get the up air, and I know they still have their double jump, so I can just up air them over and over and over until they're forced to use their double jump. And maybe once I know that they don't have their double jump, that's when I'll start incorporating forward airs into my juggling, to kind of push them off stage. Because now, like Luigi, if he doesn't have his double jump, he only has side B and up B, and both of those are really, really really bad because he can't grab the ledge like easily without them, right?
Right.
So yeah,
I
that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like, in theory, and you always hear this, like, oh, once their double jump is gone, it's like a lot easier, right? Or maybe it
Yep.
becomes clearer. I find in practice, like, for some reason, and obviously, uh, I'm sure I mean, obviously, it's like a skill issue, but
Mm-hmm.
it's super hard for me to even follow up after their double jump is gone, or like I'll be like, oh, it's my time, and then I'll go in and it's like, oh, they can air dodge or whatever, like,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I find air dodging is like very annoying for me in particular, or I feel like I always get gotcha'd by that, so maybe I'm not respecting the possibility of air dodge enough.
Well,
I mean, but yeah, I don't know.
it could be because you're not doing falling aerials.
Yeah.
Because why falling aerials? Another reason why they're so great. They kind of like pseudo option select air dodges. So not only is the falling aerial, like falling up air, better at dealing with aerial trades because the disjoint just becomes effectively that much bigger, right?
Hmm.
Um, but also you're more quickly to land and be actionable, and then you can shield or dash back grab, right? Or
Right.
if they air dodge through your up air, right? Up air here, you can land an up to right after before they're actionable and they can land. I'm struggling to L cancel right now because I have frame advance on, but you get the idea.
Yeah, no
Um,
worries.
but yeah, so falling aerials make a huge difference from when they're directly above you, and low key from when they're like if they're like here and you do like a falling forward air kind of thing.
Mm.
Because then you could react like, okay, did they air dodge outwards? Then you could down tilt, did they air dodge in stage? Then you can dash
Sure.
back fair kind of thing. Like, that's kind of the idea. You almost always want to do a falling aerial to keep them off stage. And juggling, I would describe it almost as like setting up a force field. Or so like from this side of the stage all the way up over here to this side, right? Like a big dome. So I look at it like if I had to draw it out, a big
Yeah.
semicircle here, and then I think, okay, if I know they're directly above me, I'm just gonna keep up airing them, and I will up air them 50 times over if I have to, if it's Luigi, until he's at like 160, and then he'll just die from an up tilt anyway, right?
Right.
Same thing with Sheik. However, once they start drifting away, or if I know that they don't have a double jump and I can force them off stage, then I will start using like forward airs or nairs or up airs where I know they're going to DI out towards the stage and just keep pushing them out. Usually once you get to around here on the stage, I would say they start holding in a lot more. So you
Right.
have to be a little bit more creative. Like sometimes you're instead of going for like up air here, you might want to bait out an aerial and then you can do like wave dash back, F smash, push them off stage. Or you could do an up tilt the other direction, flick them that way. Or even just forward air outright instead of another up air. But the idea is rack up damage as much as you can because you know that they won't be able to land. You can just keep doing it,
Yeah.
or force them off stage, right? That's the idea. So, and the
Sure.
best way to do that, falling aerials is the optimization so you don't get trades with aerials. So you do your falling aerials so you don't trade with theirs. And if you're unsure if you can directly combo into up air, shield and wait. There's no reason to just instantly throw it out. It's often not worth it because a single hit off a juggle, like May said, juggling is not about comboing your opponent to get a bunch of damage. It's about eliminating their options to force them off stage or force them to take a bunch of damage. Right. So that's kind of the idea.
I have one more general question. And maybe this is too open-ended, but one thing I feel like I don't know how to do when juggling is like when to jump. So like maybe that sounds dumb, but I feel like I'm always unclear on like if I should be jumping like earlier or like later, or like should I be like mostly following my opponent on like the ground, or like, I don't know how to explain this problem because it sounds,
No,
uh,
it's pretty. It makes sense.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the thing is, there's no one best time to jump. I would say what you're aiming for typically is, like I said, a falling up air, right? So whatever position would give you a tipper falling up air from when they're coming down is probably the time to jump. So like at 0%, for example, it's a lot harder to get that because that just doesn't happen. They can fall or throw out an aerial by the time you're able to set that up.
sure,
So at lower percents, I'll opt for like an F throw or a down throw to tech chase or something. But at like 30, well, I guess for Sheik, it's not the best example, but like let's say at like 50, you can up throw and then just jump immediately, and then you can get a falling up air right away against her. Or same thing with Luigi. But the idea is not really the best time to jump. It's more so like you jump and then fast fall, or jump and then start going down when you think they're close enough that you can hit them with falling up air. That's the main thing you're looking for.
sure.
The why falling up air is really great too is if you could set that up, and let's say you're too early on it, you can always fast fall then up tilt, right, instead. So you always have those two options in your corner if you do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, cool. Um, so yeah, let's talk about Sheik a little bit. I actually do have a little write up here I can give you. Just give me one moment. I have a basic game plan for Sheik. We could talk about that. I have that pre-written down. It's just in another student's DMs, but it'll take me 2 seconds to grab. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Not sure if the verbiage on this is all correct. We can change it if it's wrong, but this should be all that you need. Because the Sheik game plan, as difficult as a matchup it can be, your game plan is actually pretty easy against her, or at least straightforward. Okay, so we'll talk about this before we actually watch your game, and then we can kind of jump into it.
Sure.
So, kind of like what we said before, she gets very bad horizontal drift. So she can't contest you vertically in the air. So what that means is basically you get to juggle her a bunch, right? Once you get good at juggling, you can force her off stage. She's really simple edge guard, and you can kill or get a bunch of damage and then kill. So how do you play on stage? Well, you know that Sheik relies a lot on tilts, which means she's probably getting CC'd. So like F tilt, up tilt, jab. Those are like her safe moves, quote unquote. The only other moves she would really throw out in neutral are boost grab, dash attack, or down smash. But all those are very committal and like easily punished. So if you can look out for those three, and play around the tilts, she's kind of easy to beat in that sense. So how do you do that? You have to stay away from Sheik's range, which keeps you at tipper distance and allows you to CC safely. Sheik's range being F tilt range ish, just slightly outside of that. If you're able to stay outside Sheik's F tilt range, dash attack becomes a much bigger commitment, and like I said, you can hold down on reaction anytime. So that becomes a lot easier. To make it so that she can't contest you vertically in the air, you could just juggle her, which we talked about already with up air and up tilt. And you can stay underneath her easily where she can't contest, so she's forced to either trade or drift away off stage. We talked about again. So grab, F tilt, F smash, like, and that's what we talked about in the corner kind of thing, like how to force her off stage. And then from there, you can just keep edge guarding her with like a flow chart, a typical Sheik edge guard flow chart. Which, if you don't know, we can talk about that as well.
Sure.
So yeah, Sheik's strengths, she has massive hitboxes that are often faster than Marth and disjointed. So basically what that means is you cannot fight her up close. Do not try and scrap with Sheik. It's just not worth it. She has quick burst ranges with dash attack, which kind of follows the same thing. and she gets a ton off grab at any percent. So that's the biggest thing you're most scared of in this matchup is do not get grabbed by Sheik because you will die. The other thing is don't go off stage if you can't against her because you will die. It's just the same thing. Sheik probably edge guards Marth the hardest out of any top tier character. Debatable between Sheik, Falcon, or Puff, but all three of them are pretty brutal. So yeah, like I said, you have to be careful around Sheik's attack ranges. They can kill you at almost like any percent, which means you can't give her anything for free. So just basically don't go too far because then she can camp with needles, but also don't get too close. You kind of want to fight at a mid-range at all times against Sheik for neutral. But yeah, basically, like I said, be aware of F tilt, up tilt, dash attack, crouch cancel up for self. And you have to manage recovery resources more sparingly against her because of her giant edge guard resources. So that basically just means when you're recovering, don't side B in the no fly zone like we talked about already, or don't use your double jump right away because if you do and you get hit by back air, then you're just not going to make it back, right? So that's kind of the rules for Sheik. It's basically don't fight it too close, don't get grabbed, play around these certain moves, and make sure you juggle and hit her as hard as you can because otherwise she's going to hit you and it's going to suck. But this matchup really is simple on paper. I would say it's one of my best matchups, and I would also argue I'm one of the best Marths against Sheik in the world. But I do think this matchup, while it is very simple on paper, it's still a very executionally difficult matchup. Like, you have to be always playing on point because it's tough to always be staying outside of a certain range or always be ready to juggle. It's something you have to get a little bit of intuition for, but a lot of it is easily written down and like studied and practiced, right? So I do think this is a matchup most Marths could be good at. They kind of just don't take the time to really do it. They'd much rather play just Marth Fox all the time. But yeah, I do think this is one of the most fun matchups in the game. So any questions about the game plan or stuff like that?
No, I'm sure I'll have questions as we watch.
Okay, sure. So yeah, let's just jump right in because I don't want to waste too much of your time just talking nonstop. But
no, this is really helpful.
I think the juggling tips and the game plan really kind of paint it out as is. So one thing that this game plan doesn't talk over a ton, just because I think it's not super necessary, but it is just a really, really strong move, is down tilt in this matchup. So that's something I'm going to be looking out for a lot. Like I said, you kind of want to stay outside of Sheik's F tilt range because otherwise any other option from her to try and hit you is a big overcommitment from her, which you can easily punish. But what's great about staying outside of F tilt range as well is that down tilt destroys that like really, really bad. You can always poke at Sheik. And also what's great, the best move that Sheik has to really beat down tilt is either forward air or dash attack. But both of those kind of lose to nair pretty easily. And they also lose to like pivot grab or just forward air in place. So yeah, like I said, very easily punishable, but down tilt is like super great for taking stage in this matchup as well. So yeah. Okay. Let's get a grab. So I will say, in terms of like grab flowchart for Sheik, when you do get a grab, I don't think you necessarily played this super bad. I think just like obviously you didn't CC the dash attack, and you got hit by a couple of needles, but nothing like major. You took 12%, which is like chip damage in this matchup. It doesn't mean anything. However, once you got the grab, you did the down throw tech chase here, which is good, right? But then you up throw right away after. And I get why you might go for this up throw because the platform is right here. But just where DI up and DI up and to the right, or just DI right, kind of all those options exist on the table, I would still opt for down throw most of the time against her. Mm-hmm. I would down throw Sheik until 26% if you want to write that number down.
Okay. That is a huge number for just down throwing over and over, I feel like, but I'll believe it.
It's really not that bad. It just means 3 tech chases, which is pretty manageable in retrospect, but it's like 3 or 4, but it's really not that tough. And you could always just, instead of opting for like a bunch of regrabs if you're not confident, like just do a safer option like down tilt or F tilt, or you can even just F smash off 1 tech chase and get the damage, and then you can regrab her later, you know?
Right.
But yeah, 26% is the percent that up throw up tilt starts comboing on any DI. After that, you can do up throw into forward air or up throw to up air, depending on which way they DI. And I would say around like 80-ish is when you might want to start incorporating either juggling or, again, like juggling still, or F throw or down throw pivot mix-ups to kill her. But juggling is pretty reliable at high percent as well, because like I said, she just has bad drift. But yeah, 26 is like the number for Sheik, for sure. Because then you see what happens here. You get up throw, kind of like we just talked about with Luigi. You up tilt immediately, but she can jump out, right? Just barely. So if you didn't up tilt here, you could shield, right? Like we said.
Yeah.
Shield here, reactor double jumping, and you could even up air at a shield. But it'd be pretty tough because she's down airing, so I'd probably just shield grab her, to be honest. But yeah. Okay.
How could I have avoided that?
That F tilt?
Yeah.
Well, I would say your dash dance right now is like pretty rhythmic. It's like dun 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 dun.
Sure.
And like you're not really like, I don't know how to describe it. You're not really being like buttery. Like you're not covering a massive range. You're kind of just dashing in the same spot, it seems.
I see.
So one thing to understand, I will tell you, this is like a Sheik player habit. I think Sheik and Ice Climbers both have this habit. I don't know why. I think it's just because their rolls are pretty long and good. But they like to roll and then do a tilt instantly. With Ices, it's roll and grab / down smash. With Sheik, it's roll and F tilt.
This guy mains Ice Climbers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not surprising. But yeah.
Yeah.
They just like rolling a lot. So one thing to be aware of is when you're dash dancing, they're going to roll a lot. So it's kind of just one of those things like to be aware of and like reactive to. Because if they roll, like it's honestly pretty reliable to just like pivot shield out of your dash dance or something. And then you can just wait a second and then nair backwards. But I mean, the way you could have avoided this was either dash through Sheik while they're rolling, because the roll goes far. So like when you see that they're in shield here, this is a good spot to like do a quick dash dance in place and like react kind of.
Okay.
Sorry, one sec. Excuse me. Yeah, this would be like a good place to dash dance in place kind of thing and just react to what they do at a shield. Some Sheiks, when they see you do that dash dance, though, they do like to forward air instantly. But like I said, that's a big commitment. And that's a big theme, I guess, of the matchup. It's like Marth can have so many different like spacings or just like little movement tricks to force Sheik into doing a big commitment. That if they don't do it, they're just stuck in a bad spot until they do something. Or you go back to playing neutral, but it's still advantaged for you. Or they do a big commitment. I think most Marths just aren't ready for that, and they kind of try and play it like Fox, where it's very reactive and stuff like that. But they're not reacting to the right things, if that makes sense. So, yeah, anyway. Here, I would say you definitely want to react to the shield, dash dance at a far away enough distance, and then once you see that they roll, you can just kind of react and dash dance. If you're late on their reaction, though, I would just keep running the other direction instead of dash dancing back towards them, because that kind of lets you get hit by a tilt. So yeah, those are the two spots. It's like either react to the shield here, or react to the roll and then run to the corner kind of thing.
Yeah. I think this game in particular is me trying to like dash dance, grab and touch stuff and getting tilted. So that's why I
Okay. Yeah.
That's really clean.
That makes sense. So yeah, here you get a grab, right? Sheik's at 40, so you can just react, up throw forward air. This is a good down air. Okay. Sheik's invincible here. How do you get down? Shield off air. So yeah, this is very common, right? This forward air right here. There, I'm not sure if you L canceled that. Hard to say, but I would always recommend, because it doesn't look like you fast fell it. When you're coming down off an aerial, just slight optimization. If you fast fall this, it's way easier to get your shield up in time. Sheik shouldn't be able to F tilt if you're doing a falling forward like this, because this is almost tipper spacing, so it should be good enough.
I noticed looking at like the Slippy stats that my L cancel ratio in practical games is atrocious, like really, really bad.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yes, and
Do you know where
it's
you're
not
missing them?
no clue.
Okay.
I mean, not specifically, but yeah, I mean, it's not something that I've had a problem with like in solo practice at all. So it was interesting to me to come to that realization that in my in my actual games, my L cancel rate is really bad for some reason.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a more conscious effort to try to fix that now. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, I don't think there's any situation in particular where I'm like missing them. I think it's just like a ubiquitous thing of like I'm I'm not at a point yet where I can not think about it,
Yeah.
apparently. So I just need to maybe make a more conscious effort to like focus on that while I'm playing. Because yeah, in solo practice, it's like it's not a problem at all. It's very easy. Whether there's a target, no target, like whatever, yeah, any circumstance, like it's easy. So that was interesting for me to realize.
I would assume it might be like a platform thing.
Mm,
Typically, it's around platforms or like near the ledge when people do like forward air on stage kind of thing. It's kind of like the easy ones to miss that don't really like cost you much. But I don't know.
mm.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird one. One I didn't expect for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad
Yeah.
dash attack.
I think just
Kind of dash attack into their CC for no reason really.
yeah. I would almost never
And
use dash attack in this matchup. It's just too committal. You know.
I, it's like a habit I think that I've developed like out of the corner for some reason. There I realized I wasn't just in a corner, but yeah, for some reason, like especially when cornered, I notice I'll try to dash attack out of it, and I don't really know where that habit comes from.
Most smarts, I will say, they go for dash attack when there's like a big gap between the two of you. So like here, there's a
Mm,
pretty sizable gap where like dash forward grab won't work. So
yeah,
that's when they opt for dash attack.
sure. And there, like, um, I realized that if I just walk forward and take space, like their position is bad because they're at the edge of the
Yeah,
stage.
exactly. Like
Um,
you could
yeah,
fully just walk forward right here,
yeah, and do nothing.
or even like just down tilt, right?
Right.
Like here,
Yeah.
they're holding down. Like a down tilt just kind of hits them in the face, and
Uh
then
huh.
they don't have time to like punish you for it if it's tipper.
I guess that also raises the question of like, what do you do after you down tilt? So I don't think I've done it yet, but it'll surely come up. When I get a down tilt, I'll like try to like run up grab is like my default in probably any matchup, which is I admit like probably not what I should be doing because I feel like a a lot of the time it's not even like true and they could do something. And B, if they like CC it and I just default to doing that, I'm gonna get owned. So I like always wonder like what the follow up after down tilt like should even be. Like it creates a little bit of space, and I get that it's like a small positional advantage and it's nice poke. Um, but like I guess I don't really know like what what should I be going back like what mode I guess should I go back to being in after I landed down tilt, if that question makes any sense.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to look at it. Because when you say you typically grab, that almost makes it sound like you use it as like a combo move, right? Like if you
Right,
get
and it's not what
yeah,
it's for. Yeah.
it's a poke, like you said.
Yeah.
Um, so I'd say the best mode to go back into is like reactive mode. What are they doing right after I down tilt, or reactive, or like you're the mode where you're able to like take information, like pay attention to what they do.
Mm.
Down tilt is good not only for when you hit them, but like let's say you're like far away enough, like this dash attack for example, right? I'm gonna go here. So even if you're like right here, right, you do your long dash or whatever. I want to do it before you do the dash, so it kind of makes the picture a little clearer. Okay, so let's say you're right here and you down tilt, right? This down tilt is probably gonna reach like here if you're down tilt from where you are, maybe like
Mm-hmm.
here, but even not, it's not even gonna hit them. But why down tilt is such a great move is because from your opponent's perspective, it's a very difficult move to punish, and it's kind of a move that just is always forcing them into the corner or further away, right? It's never something that's going to kill them outright until like maybe higher percent where they just forces them into an edge guard completely. But it's a move that kind of forces them in the air to kind of jump over you, which they hate doing, running going in the air against Marth, where he has forward air, F smash, nair, whatever. It's so annoying for them. Um, or it's a move that puts them in the corner, which again Marth excels at. So why down tilt is great is because you can kind of use it to take information whether or not you hit them. If you hit them, it's a little bit spammable, not entirely, but like you can kind of keep using it as long as they don't like for Sheik, for example, she has a quick dash attack, so she might be able to dash attack at you if it's not tip or down tilt. But even then, sometimes you can just get your shield up sometimes. But like, let's say like Falco, or maybe not Falco is the best example. Let's say, I don't know, Peach. If you down tilt near Peach, even though she has a fast dash attack, it's not as fast as Sheik's. She's kind of forced to either like be in the corner or go in the air. But again, like if she's in the air, now you can just play the air-to-air game, which Marth also wins at, right? So the idea is like when you hit the down tilt, you can kind of keep doing it, but what you're really looking for is like, what are they doing after? Same thing when you miss a down tilt. Even when you miss a down tilt, you can often tell like, okay, are they backing off further and going into the corner? That's a pretty good tell I can do. Like next time I could do like down tilt into wave dash F smash and catch them dashing back. Are they jumping? Which then I know, okay, now I can just play for platforms if they're doing that. Are they shielding? Cool. Now I can do down tilt into grab, for example. But yeah, or you could just do nothing and just keep doing down tilt. That's perfectly a valid option. But that's, like you said, down tilt is a poke more than anything. It is not really a combo move, but it's the best poke in the game. Like, down tilt is an option they always have to play around, if that makes sense. So if they're not respecting the down tilt range, that means they're doing something super committal all the time. You can punish that otherwise. So yeah, that's when you would use it, or what you would do afterwards, basically.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
That definitely helps.
Okay, so here you're a little slow on your up tilt here. Up throw up tilt.
Yeah.
I would say though, miss your up tilt, sure. Here, I don't like the jump. I would say probably either up tilt again and try and call them out using this back air where they're extending their foot, or just shield or wave dash into stage or something. But jumping at them, it's a little bit too much, you know? It's like you only have one chance against Sheik oftentimes, or even like good players in general. If you miss a combo, you gotta accept that you missed it and moved on.
Yeah. That's something I definitely don't do enough.
Yeah, that's just a harsh reality of the game, you know? Okay. I'm not going to talk about that ST. I feel like it's pretty obviously a misinput. Okay, I like this, staying in center. Oh, this is looking weird. Hold on.
I think
yeah,
sometimes
just...
I don't know why the slippy replays just do this.
Yeah. So while the nairs are good here, I do think nair is like a weaker move against Sheik. It has its niche use, like it's pretty good against crouch cancel sometimes, but typically I like the spacing you're doing for the nairs. I would just probably replace the nairs with fair more often. Fair is a very good move for Sheik just because it's bigger range, and that's really just it. Like it's kind of all it comes down to. Fair reaches further, and like I said, this is a matchup of ranges, not so much beating specific moves. You just want to play the mid range all the time, and fair is one of the best. Fair and down tilt are like the moves to play at the mid range.
So is there any kind of fair you would favor over the other in this matchup?
Any other fair?
Any kind of fair, like a late fair.
Almost always late fair. They're rising fair or double fair, quote unquote, isn't really as strong because she can dash attack underneath those, or sometimes she could even wave dash F tilt. So almost always late fair. Sorry, that's a good question. Because yeah, like I'll show you why. So like these nairs, while they're good, right? This one probably harder to punish for her because she's in shield already. This one she dash attacks preemptively. So here she's in shield, which is bad. But like this one, for example, this is fair. No, cancelled or fast fell, so it doesn't matter. But yeah. Oh my god, Slippy. Oh no. Okay. All these examples where Sheik is shielding against Nair, while they're strong, she can dash attack through them, right? Fair, however, and I should make another distinction since you brought it up. Drift back, falling fair, she just can't dash attack through that. It's too good of a walling tool, right? You can always put up your shield, or you can down tilt in place beforehand. And like we said, down tilt, best poke, best force somebody to the quarter, best best way to take information. So fair is just generally better, I would say. Oh my god, dude, come on. So
There
dumb.
we go. Oh,
No,
never mind. No,
it'll fix itself, I'm sure.
usually.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sometimes I just like I don't know, pause and start it up a couple times
Yeah.
to make it.
Okay,
There we
there.
go.
No. Okay, I wonder if I can go back and it'll fix itself. No. Okay, I'm just gonna restart the replay. We're at like a minute in. It's no big deal. Okay. Okay. So good up air, forward air. So here you should grab the ledge. You do, yep. Okay, great. This is good. So again, same thing. We talked about this before, but between stocks, right?
Yeah.
Just where she's invincible, it's pretty tough, and you don't want to be fighting Sheik up close. So I would just go to ledge here.
Sure.
Get Sheik. But I like the fairs here. Kind of keep her away.
Ooh, that was probably a misinput there.
Yeah, that could have been down tilt easily. That down tilt would have hit.
Yeah, it was supposed to be for sure.
This is great. Down tilt and attach back grab.
How do you cover top platform? Like I know, like this situation on Yoshi specifically happens a lot, where I just like, I know, short hop up air, like if it's properly placed, like the very top of Marth's sword will like reach that. But I don't know. I find I have a hard time following up like top platform in general, and like I know Yoshi's is probably one of the easiest ones to like follow up on.
Yep.
And I still don't get it.
Well,
So I don't know what like I don't know would up throw even like because they can land on the top platform there. Like is up throw even what I should be going for? And if so, like how do I punish that like after they land here?
I would say it's character dependent, but because Sheik has bad horizontal drift, like we mentioned, and like it's one of the main ways to get punishes against her through juggling, I would opt for yes. It's a good option to go for to put her on the top platform. In terms of like how to cover it, like you said, short up instant up air kind of puts the tipper hitbox right where you are, right above you. But it only covers that's probably the safest option you have to poke at the top plat.
Yeah.
But it only covers 1 out of 3 tech options, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of the difficulty of it. If you want to do something more committal to kind of do multiple options at the same time, you could go for nair, forward air, down air, back air. That's kind of all straightforward, but I don't really like doing those ones as much because they're, like I said, they're just a little bit more committal. I like to play as safe as possible against Sheik.
Yeah.
But
No.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go for it.
No,
I was gonna say. Oh.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say, is no impact land like a hard read on like a tech rollout, or like, I see that sometimes, and I don't know when you're supposed to do that.
No impact land is kind of like a new age tech. I would say it's more akin to like PC dropping in this scenario where it's like kind of a little fancy but does have some optimization. Like
Yeah.
in this situation, for example, if you know they're gonna tech on the left side or you just have a feeling, you could technically no impact land like here and then just put up your shield and cover more all at once.
Yeah.
Because I believe shield drop up air would just cover the whole thing, but that's kind of the situation where it's like you have to get up there first.
Yeah.
And you risk them rolling to the right while you're no impact landing.
Right. Right.
Which is a little annoying. Because then you're just up close to Sheik, which you don't want to be.
Yeah.
So I personally don't really opt for it much. I'll just go for like the up air here.
Yeah.
But why I think that's okay is because look at it from Sheik's perspective. She has no way to hit you, and you're not really at risk of her coming down because you can always juggle her, right?
Yeah.
You have the ability to cover everything she does coming down. So my opinion is that the up air here is perfectly fine. If you're wrong on the tech chase when you go for the up air and she techs the other way, just position yourself to be underneath her and play from there, right?
Yeah, makes sense. I feel like I guess this like also segues a little bit into like another question I have. Maybe we talk about this another time, but I notice like something that I'll see Martha do in particular. Zane seems really good at this, where he's like really good at like tech chasing onto side plats or even top plat, less so top plat, more side plats, like, and I'll see him do this against like Fox most of the time. He'll just like tech chase onto side plats and grab instead of going for like up tilt or like falling up air.
Yep.
And like I don't know why he's doing that. Like I don't know when when to go for that, or like how it just seems to work out for him all the time, because I feel like I've experimented with it, and like whenever I try to go for it, I like, sometimes you get punished because they will do like miss tech get up attack while you're jumping up there, and then you just get hit, and
Yeah.
or like stuff like that. And it's like, how does he know? Like I don't know how he I don't know how he always gets that right. It just seems like magic to me, and I can't parse the situation at all.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really like the one thing you have to look out for in that scenario is like you said, like miss tech get up attack. That's like the one way they directly beat it.
Yeah.
But I would say it's more context based for that than anything. It's kind of like wave dashing, where it's like how you use it kind of thing. But
Yeah.
generally, I would say the reasons why he might go for that is something like to beat slide off. Like
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes just doing like up air, up tilt like don't work as much, or you don't really get much,
Yeah.
even if they do the slide off DI, where like a grab just so strong.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be like I'll see Zane go for like, I don't know if you ever seen him do like F throw into down air off of side plat.
Yeah, that I've seen that mix up too. Yeah, I'm curious. I also don't know like how, like I guess I don't have a good enough understanding of the game to understand like that DI mix up, or like how does he know like that that's gonna work out, or like how does he know they're gonna DI that way, or like what are they trying to DI for that is allowing that? Is that like a DI in? Like I don't even know.
So
like how he does that. Yeah.
So I would say like when he goes for that one in particular against Spacies, it's probably like percent dependent. I would say roughly like 60 or so.
Yeah.
And then from there, once he does the F throw, if he gets the grab, which like the stars have to align for that, but if it does, it's really good because then he can get it. He could force a kill either way off it.
Yeah.
If they DI in, like then he just gets the down air. It's like on reaction, you F throw, react to their DI down air.
Yeah.
If they DI out, they're forced off stage, right? So it's like then you could just edge guard from there. So it's kind of a checkmate, but you still have to execute, right?
Right.
Similar to this also, like this position technically, even though they're only at 35, could be a checkmate for Sheik if you're good enough at juggling, right? So it's just one of those things where it's like it's position awareness, it's how hard the mix up is. That's kind of all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Oh, almost a good up B. I think the big thing here is just a little too early.
Yeah, I don't know what that forward air was either. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I think I thought I had a little more time there.
Yeah, looks like it. Okay, but this is great. This down tilt's awesome, actually. This is what you should be doing a lot more, I think. This one right here. Because you down tilt, you poke, and then you just dash dance and react. Sorry. Right? Now you can get this grab way easier. Because like I said, Sheik, when you're playing the mid-range, where it's like a down tilt range, right? I'm just going to pause it so it's a little bit clearer. Right? This range-ish, let's say you're not dashing, and let's say Sheik is an inner shield stun. You just down tilt, and you guys are both just standing next to each other. Our only real safe move here, if you're standing in place right here, not full body extorted the other way because of dash back, our only safe move to hit you here is F tilt, which is easily blocked, right? After a down tilt. She has to overcommit with like dash attack or boost grab to do it, which makes this dash dance so much stronger, right? So when you dash dance here and just see her like commit, wave dash, down smash, like this is a free grab, which like you don't go for, but if you were ready to look for it,
right,
this Sheik is dead, right? And if you grabbed here, you could have done F throw because she's DIing this way. You could have done F throw into F smash and it would have killed her.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I would say, just for a small record too, after like 50%, if you up throw Sheik, just always go for up air.
Sure.
50 to like 80, it's just up air over and over.
Okay.
Okay, here probably just could have forwarded this if you were ready, kind of thing. That. Okay, good. Grat shield on the dash attack.
Yeah.
You can up throw up air Sheik until 80, just for the record. 85-ish, I would say. So could have upaired that.
Sure.
Okay, let's play the corner, get grabbed. One thing against Sheik, very important. You escape a tech chase here. I know we've talked about this with like Fox and a couple other characters, scrapping in the corner. Against Sheik, it's essential. You just can't fight Sheik up close. Like when you're close range, it just can't happen. With aerials, at least. So when you get out of a Sheik combo, every time if you can, reset to center or go to the other side of the stage and just play neutral again from there. Reset to neutral, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very important. This back air that you go for here could be a death sentence if the Sheik is quick enough. So, yeah. Just a small note, but it's pretty important. Okay, that was a hard read, but it worked out. I would personally, I saw you go for up B earlier in the set. I assumed it was an input error, but now because this one I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
I would not go for these up Bs if I were you. I instead here, safer version of this that exact same sequence that covers this. Especially because it's Yoshi's story, you could down tilt right here. It would reach all the way out to here, which like she double jumps into anyway, roughly, right?
Right.
Like, so while it is a cool looking kill, a little risky if you miss it.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, just
Yeah,
another
that was
dash
good.
attack kill, right?
Yeah.
From the corner here, I'll say the best thing to do, you don't really have in this scenario a good option to like beat Sheik what she has here, right? Because like getting out of the corner against her is pretty tough sometimes. So this is where down tilt is like a really strong move, right? Because it same thing that we talked about. It kind of just forces them away from Marth, kind of thing, or it forces them to overcommit. But even still, then you can just roll in on an overcommitment.
Right.
Like all of Sheik's overcommitments, boost grab, dash attack, down smash, they will all lose to roll in. So that's one thing. And the other thing is you could also just dash dance here, like, and play more reactively. If you didn't want to fight your way out, which I don't think you have to. I would dash dance here, or I'd go back to ledge. But I think, yeah, just the immediate dash attack. This is like wave dash F smash in neutral, the equivalent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, as long as we can agree on that.
It's a panic option. I
Yeah.
think, more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like the F smash, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
same
it's-
thing there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but you get the up tilt here. What was the percent? 22. Okay, so they missed their double jump. So just so you know, 26 is where it's confirmed. Below that, they always have 1 to 2 frames of leniency. It's very percent specific, but yeah, that's kind of the rule. 1 to 2 frames. So yeah, here you get your up tilt. The rule after up tilt, because they DI full behind, is unfortunate that your up air missed. Your forward air, sorry. After this one though, I know it's obvious in hindsight, but probably just a general rule. Forward air into up air like covers almost everything against Sheik when you're going for the juggle after the up tilt. So if you do like up tilt into up air, or let's say you get up throw into forward air, they're almost never gonna get hit by Ken combo, but they will always get hit by up air. But you wouldn't mind that because against Sheik, because up air just kind of means free juggle. Like up air is like the money move against Sheik that you're looking for most of the time. So yeah, I know this is kind of like a mashing thing, like the up tilt into double fair. But just saying, if you had gone for up air after this first fair, it would have hit her, and you could have gotten a really, really big punish. Okay, this is a situation you gotta be careful. Just because Sheik's really good on platforms here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to get down from here. I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes, yeah.
My opinion, the best move to do in this situation is just shield drop retreating fair, and I would probably go to ledge after this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do to get off ledge here? Double jump on stage. I know this is in hindsight. Sorry, I know this is hindsight, like I'm able to just pause and be like, oh, you should have done this, right? But these are just habits we've talked about before. Like here, we talked about forward air from ledge against Fox, for example, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing against Sheik. This double jump, just where Marth doesn't have Galint, it's really, really unsafe, right? It's the equivalent of like F smashing a neutral and just having all that end leg at the like. It's just really bad. But you have better options, right? Like if you did fair from ledge here, you'd hit her. You would for sure hit her if you did fair from ledge there.
Yeah.
Her arms are extending far away enough. So just to keep in mind, like I would opt to not do this neutral get up as much. And try and just, as a default, use fair from ledge. Oh, that's sneaky. I actually didn't expect that to happen at all. Yeah. Okay, high gi, they threw that, but
Yeah, for sure they did.
between you and me, better player. You win. Okay, so we'll watch this one really quick because we are running a bit late on time, and I know I've rambled. But just from the first game right away, any questions?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I'll probably have to watch this over and then think of some more stuff.
Okay, sure. That's no worries.
Yeah, but yeah, also, yeah, if you have to call it here, no worries. Feel free.
It's no worries. I try to get two games out per session. I just know we've talked a little bit about like matchup going into it and how to juggle as well. And on top of it, I know I'm a little slower because I'm sick right now, but I still want to give you what you paid for, right? So I'll give you your two games. So FD, I do want to say, like I said, this one's gonna be a little quicker.
Yeah.
But this is your counter pick matchup, right? Or your counter pick stage. Why is this your counter pick stage? Can you answer that?
Well, I imagine it's because, as you mentioned, up air is the money move, and
Yeah.
what's that? Sorry, what?
I'm just saying, yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Like,
yeah, and you are gonna try to get a lot of up airs on this stage,
Yeah.
uninterrupted. Yeah, they don't have platform mix-ups. Also, they don't have side platform mix-ups for recovery or any stuff like that. So it makes the edge guarding flow chart a lot more straightforward. And yeah,
yeah, no, that's just straight up why. Okay, that's good. So, though up air is like the money move, like we said, for getting damage and eliminating their options, the ultimate goal is to push them off stage, right? So they are gonna eventually double jump out and try and escape, but you'll cover that with just by like forward airing or F smashing them off once they double jump, right?
yeah,
The only other thing to be aware of on FD is becoming increasingly harder against Sheik. So it is Marth's best stage in the matchup, which sounds pretty brutal for a counter pick, but the reason why it's pretty tough is because let's say you take Sheik's first stock, she comes back invincibly. Sheik is a faster character than Marth, right?
yeah. It's very hard to run away from a grab.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you almost every time, and I'm gonna be looking out for it in the set. You have to go to ledge against Sheik.
Yeah, I hate that.
I know it's so brutal. It's really tough, and it's something that Marth players struggle with. But this is a great stage to get good at getting off the ledge, and a great matchup for it as well. Because like if you could do it against Sheik, you could do it against everybody. But yeah, fair from ledge is going to be really important from getting back on stage, learning to take your time and get back to center where you can instead of like scrapping your way out.
Yeah.
Those are going to be two main things we're going to be looking for.
I think I lose this game also.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, I picked FD VOD on purpose.
Okay, well, that's good. So, like we said, up throw, up tilt, it's a kind of a mix-up at 0, right? You're not sure if it's going to connect. Well, like, I know it's not going to connect, but it could, technically, if she doesn't do anything. So, I would just down throw here and go for a tech chase until 26. Yep. Okay, you're stuck, DI out, which is good, but then you double jump right away. Right, you can see it here.
And luckily, all they did was jab.
Yeah, no, you got lucky, right? Because this is the no-fly zone, right?
Yeah, that was real bad.
Yeah. So we talked about that already. Okay, there's that dash stack again.
Dash attack again.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, there's it is
Really
again.
bad dash attack again.
Yep. But it's okay. Like you're seeing it now, right? That's the important thing. Okay, so down throw. You probably could have up thrown there.
Up throw there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the %.
Yep. So let's talk about how you play invincibility, right? Have we talked about how to use invincibility offensively before?
No, we have not. I would love to hear about that.
Okay, so everyone has their different opinions, but for different characters on how to use invincibility. So there's a lot of different theories that exist out there. My theory with Marth, and one that's shared amongst most Marth players, is that you get one swing. So from center respawn platform, I don't know the technical amount. I think it literally is 2 seconds of invincibility, right? But you're pretty close to center. I would say just from running, you could probably reach just about to the corner. You could reach it effectively with your sword range, but you can cover the whole range of the stage with invincibility, right? But what you can't do is swing a bunch of moves and then still be invincible, right? Eventually they're going to get around it, or even like wait till your invincibility is done and punish you. Excuse me. So what that means is when you swing with invincibility, I would swing from the position of holding center and using your biggest move that will give you your biggest punish, right? Because you're invincible, you're not going to get punished for it. So what that would mean would be like, for this example, if I know Sheik is going to run to the left, I would probably aim to like grab around here, facing this way, right? Because if I get the grab, then I get my biggest punish, and then I could just start like juggling her basically to death while invincible. So it's like there's like no risk for me going for that grab. But if I miss it, again, the idea is that I've only swung once, and that I get to hold position. So she's still stuck in the corner. So it's good for me, right? So that's the advantage of invincibility. You get to use your biggest win condition free one time, and you get to hold position, which is with Marth is like one of the best tools in the game. Like truthfully, it is. It's kind of broken. So yeah, instead of doing that, you do a full hop for air and then dash back right into them, right? Which now you can kind of see like why that's a little bit worse. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you were to grab here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. You grab here, sure, but she won't be able to dash attack into you. You'll still be invincible, right? You still have your invincibility, so she can't. Like this jump would be terrible if she did that with your grab. You'd be able to forward her out of the air or something, or dash back grab.
Sure.
So the idea is always hold center with your invincibility. And my opinion, with Marth in almost every matchup, you might as well just grab, because in almost every matchup, grab is his best punish, really. So
right.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Makes sense.
Okay. Okay, so up throw forward air, that's good. Up air, the up air was a little. I think you could have just drifted a little bit to the left. It would have been tipper. But no big deal. So here you could have done up throw up air until 80, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know why forward through. It's weird.
It's okay. It's there. This is a good catch, by the way. I don't know why every Sheik does this. I feel like it's most low-level Sheiks, but they kind of just all do it. I think it's terrible. This fair from ledge.
Yeah.
I think this fair from ledge sucks so bad. I F-smashed him for it just the same all the time, so I'm glad you got that. Okay, so yeah. Like we said, Sheik with invincibility, you have to go to ledge, right?
Yeah.
There, she doesn't like force it on you, but if she wanted to, right? Similar to what we were talking about with the grab thing, she could run all the way across the stage right here, right. Just force you into the corner, and you do not want to play the corner against Sheik. So there, you're effectively pushed to the ledge. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So here, this jump, I understand why you're dash dancing playing reactive too. Once you see this double jump though, I would instantly pull the trigger and whip out an up air. Even if you trade, it's not that bad. But if you get the clean hit, this is like so good for you, right? So just be a lookout. Like I said, juggling is about removing their resources, right? If you can catch Sheik without a double jump at any point and hit her, she could be as well as dead, right? So at 0%, this was a massive throw from them. That was weird.
I don't know if that was like a phantom up B or what the heck was
No,
that?
you just crouch canceled it.
That was so weird.
Yeah, you're just low enough percent. You crouch canceled. Watch.
Never seen that before. Oh yeah, it's direct hit.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You just shield after. Okay, so no double jump here. I don't know if you saw, but Watch. We talked about the rings last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There they are.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So instead of this up air here, if I see the rings, I'm going for back air, and I'm just pushing them off and off because they can't. There's no mix up for them. They're just gonna try and hit you a bunch when they try and land. But Marth's sword is better than that, so you don't get hit basically. So that's the idea. Okay, good down tilt. Okay, this is just damage you have to take, unfortunately. Except for this forward air. You probably could have just drifted back and avoided it, but whatever.
I think I tried to trade.
Yeah.
Which is bad.
Yeah, you shouldn't try to trade against Sheik. It's almost always negative for Marth. Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
I think the
Kind of a
forward air-
checkmate situation there, maybe.
Yeah.
Like if they're holding ledge like that, kind of forced on the stage, and then.
Well, I think the forward air kind of killed you. I think you could have grabbed the ledge and played the mix up from there, but once you did this, like,
Yeah.
it's pretty tough.
It's right here. Yeah.
The other thing is you didn't side B stall to make it closer back. Like
Right.
you fell quite far before you did that. So now
Sure.
now this is kind of a checkmate scenario ish for Sheik.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah. What you could have done here is one, not try and trade here, right?
Yeah.
But even still, here, I would side B stall here. And then maybe you get hit by these needles that she's throwing, but you probably get hit by them like here. And then from there, you have the mix up of forward air instantly if she tries to grab the ledge, double jump onto stage, or go low and up B. She can't cover all three, right? So
Maybe this is a naive question, but what does side B stall all the way out there get me exactly?
all the way out here?
Yeah, like when I'm above the stage like this, because when I'm below the stage, I feel like it's just like mixing up my B timing basically, or like maybe stalling their ledge invincibility or something. But what does side B stalling all the way out there do? I don't really get that.
Oh, okay. That's funny. It's just like one of the first things you learn with Marth. So no, it's funny. So side B stalling is why it's good is because there's actually quite a common. So it's honestly not a bad question to ask though, because there is actually some common misconceptions about what it does. So I'm trying to think of like the best way to explain this. So the first side B stall you do. Do you know about what I'm talking about? Like the fresh side B. Does that make sense?
I do.
Okay, so.
Yeah, and I know about the whole like you have to land on stage like
Yeah.
get it back and all. Yeah.
Just for the record, like a wave dash fits that criteria like every time. So when I'm playing between stocks, I just make sure I wave dash once.
Sure.
But yeah, so the fresh side B stall is a little bit different, but the rest of them, if we're not going to talk about the first one, they're good because if you have momentum, like let's say you're drifting to the right, you're going to drift to the right either way if you were to just fall. But why the side B stall is great is because you keep that same drift momentum, but you're just stalling a little bit in the air when you do it. So you've effectively, I guess the best way to put it is like a paper airplane. Like,
yeah, I see.
if you're going all the way down with the paper airplane, you're just going to fall quicker versus like,
Right.
But you're going to go further if you glide a little bit with the side B stall. Does that make sense?
I see. I'm not gonna lie, I never compared, and like because I knew about the like fresh side B giving you like the actual lift. I always like thought that like side Bing over and over after you lose the juice is just like placebo and doesn't change your drift or like anything.
Yeah, it makes
So
a
it actually
significant
does
difference.
something.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't actually realize that. So maybe that's
No,
good to know.
that's funny. Yeah, so no, it does make a pretty significant difference. The only concern is like a bad player habit is like people will side B the second they're off stage all the time.
Right.
And that's when you see like the no fly zone happen a lot because they'll get caught side being like here against Sheik when she's already on the ledge, but they're just not ready for it or they're not actionable yet because side B has a little bit of lag and they'll just get back aired by her like massive lag, right? So yeah, that's pretty funny. You're as good as you are. You didn't know the side B stuff. That's pretty funny to me. But you know what? For what it's
quote unquote as good. Thanks.
no, you are good. It's just funny. Like yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Okay, but yeah, that would have made a really really big difference in your recovery here because the difference of like falling and landing like here, you probably would have been like here effectively. Yeah, test it out sometime. You'll see the real difference.
Sure. Now I almost want to like side by side video comparison to see the difference because I
Yeah.
feel like I always tricked myself into just thinking it didn't do anything.
No, it's really it's a really big difference.
Yeah, cool.
Okay,
I don't know what that
yeah,
was.
okay. Well, we just won't talk
Yeah.
about that. I
Yeah.
I would personally say if you're gonna try and edge guard Sheik, just always do it from the ledge. Like, don't run off staging at Sheik. Zane and Kadoran are doing this lately. They both stopped it recently. It's terrible. It's just not good.
Mm.
So yeah, I would not opt for that kind of recovery. Okay, this dash dance is great though. The dash attack maybe not the best. Could have been a down tilt, but whatever. This is a trap. Don't fall for this. If you get hit by
They're just
needles,
doing this.
yeah. It's okay if you
Yeah.
get hit by the needles. Maybe full stack is a bit tough because you could definitely shield them a little easier. But
Mm.
the trap is once you get hit by needles, you instantly run and attack them, even if you don't think it's a
Right.
good idea. I promise you that's what they're looking for. They want you to get annoyed by needles because they know it's not going to kill you. It's just going to give you
Right.
damage and you're going to attack, and that's when they're going to whiff punish. Their needles are your down tilt, if that makes sense, where they're just
Right.
waiting to see what you're going to do and then whiff punish you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's a trap. Do not fall for the needle thing. Great back here though. This is good. Like I said, from the ledge, and it works a lot easier.
Hmm.
Okay, dash attack looks so great. Same thing
why I
though,
love
right? The needles into instant wave dash forward down tilt.
Right.
She's in the air, you know.
Ooh, that was probably a not intentional full hop.
This should have been up air instead of an air here.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of dash attacks.
A lot of dash attacks. Yeah.
And like I said, this one's not even from the corner, right? It's just there's a
Yeah,
big
just
gap between the
really
two of you.
Yeah.
That's the tell to me when most Marths do this is when there's a big gap between the two where like a dash grab wouldn't work.
Mm.
To
Yeah,
be
I'm definitely
fair,
different.
it almost hit, but
Right.
I still think take it out of your game.
I totally agree. I'm gonna pay way more attention to that.
Yeah.
And I feel like something that I even heard, I can't remember who I was listening to talk about this. They're criticizing, I think it was Kadorian, for like always approaching with a move. And like I feel like that's like something that I'm obsessed with. Like in that situation where I like threw out the dash attack, it was like I'm so far from them and like I want to approach and like take space. So I'm gonna throw out this dash attack, but there's really no reason to like
No, fully not. Yeah.
approach with a move. Yeah, I could just take the space. Like I feel like I need to get more comfortable with just doing like playing the positional advantage and like being threatening.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're just like the most threatening when you're actionable. Why would you
Yeah,
throw out
exactly.
a move and take that away? Yeah.
We talked about it when we were talking about on Yoshi's with down tilt, right? Like when you
Yeah.
when you threw out a dash attack earlier in the other game, like it's better to just like you said take space, down tilt. You can still get like effectively they're almost the exact same amount of damage. I think dash attack does like 12 and down tilt does 10 if tipper. I'm not exactly sure on that, but the point being they're very similar in terms of like damage output. But yeah, down tilt just is a much better move in that scenario. I really don't know how to word it other than that because like it's just strictly better, you know. It's way less risk, similar reward. Gives you information about your opponent, which I think is a bigger thing, truthfully. And it forces them to do an overcommitment. So I really like down tilt against Sheik in particular because she's so bad in the air. And if you have anything to force a character that to play around their weakness or play with their weakness, it's really strong. So down tilt's like that much stronger, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like especially like this down tilt you do here. Right? Down tilt into immediate dash attack. Right? You're at the mid range. Right? This is fine. Oh, sorry. Here. This is fine. To go for a down tilt from this spacing. It's tipper. But you immediately dash attack, right? It's like if you down tilt here and just like wait and see what they do, oh, they're stuck on the ledge. Okay, I can just play my ledge mix up game.
Right.
You could get a kill here, right?
Yeah, there's really no reason to do that.
Yeah. It's a poke, right? But this is a matchup where you just want to poke at Sheik. This isn't a matchup, I will say. It's similar to Peach in the sense that like You're not looking to combo Peach to death like you are with Fox, or you're not looking to combo Sheik to death like you are. You're looking to juggle her, and in neutral, you're not looking to like get a raw grab all the time. You'll get a grab if you can get the punish for it, sure, if you have like an opening, but you'll just poke at Sheik or like try and get her in the air or hit her on a platform as much as you can, because your main goal is just get her off stage, right? So that's kind of how you do it. Okay.
I don't know why he SD'd. That just seems so random. He's like, down there seems good right now.
I would assume maybe it's fast fall forward air or something, but one thing to note from this situation, you do a no fly zone side B.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, it's scary, but you're playing really, really close for that grab. You get away with it, but pretty scary. Same thing here also. Like,
Yep.
down tilt into dash attack.
Dash attack, yeah.
Yep. You get it, but
Yeah, it's not worth it.
yeah. Double jump in the no fly zone too, right?
Yep.
This is a panic.
Yeah, lots of bad options.
Yep. This is a scramble. You're at 113 on last stock. I get it, but
Or dash attack into the corner. Random dash attack. I don't know why I went for that one.
also F throw off the grab instead of up throw. You could have got massive damage at this percent.
Yeah.
Versus now you get nothing. Yeah, that's kind of game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that whole stock, I feel like honestly we could just watch this whole stock back, and if you fix, I'm not kidding, every interaction on the stock,
Yeah.
you would fix your whole game plan against Sheik, because these are all this stock was is reoccurring themes, right?
Yeah, everything was wrong on that stock.
Yeah.
Pretty much every single thing.
But it's not that it was necessarily a terrible stock. It just wasn't the right stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Cool. Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, that's kind of all I have for now.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much for taking the time to go over that. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Do you have any other questions before we end things here? I'm perfectly happy to answer anything.
No, I think I'm good. And I think this is the last one that I have paid for currently. I'll definitely leave you a testimonial.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So look out for that. Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I didn't forget.
Okay. Well, yeah. I really hope. I was gonna say it is our last one of this like Marth 101 package. I know we kind of just talked about random things here and there throughout it, but if you are interested in continuing coaching with me, I'm happy to build upon some of the game plans and like theory and fundamental stuff that we talked about. Yeah, just let me know. You can always shoot me a message either way. Even if you don't want to continue with my lessons, you can always shoot me a message and just ask questions here and there. I'm perfectly happy to answer. But yeah, I know we've had a pretty good run so far. I would hope to continue our sessions together sometime. But I will for sure have this one uploaded for you later tonight. And I'll send it to you as soon as possible. But yeah, that's kind of all I got.
Thanks so much.
No worries.
Cheers.
Have a good one.